Hey everyone, welcome to the first episode of the Wake Up Call for 2026. I'm Dr. Jeff LaCure, and again, so excited to be with you. I hope a lot of you tuned in last week, a couple weeks ago, when I closed out 2025, and I told you that I was taking my program in a different direction, all positive, all helpful. I want to help you be the best you. I want to help your relationships. I want to help you be a better parent, better person. I want you to be the top 1%. I want to help you be humble and confident all at the same time. Today, I'm really excited. Notice I didn't say super excited. I don't even know where that hit the vernacular, but let's not do that one. But I'm really excited. I've been looking forward to doing this one for the entire year, all 6 days. And it's the 7 C's of how you develop and maintain a really healthy romantic relationship. And today I want you to really listen, and I want you to watch this episode several times. And the reason I want you to watch it several times is I want you to assess and really deeply reflect of the 7 C's that I present, how many of those you are utilizing effectively. Now, obviously, there's a lot of things I'm going to leave out as far as words, concepts that begin with the letter C. But I'm going to walk you through these 7 C's, which are really almost 7 stages of a really healthy relationship. And quite frankly, again, I told you I was going to stay positive, and I will. But quite frankly, I think a lot of romantic relationships are in trouble. And quite frankly, I think a lot of people have settled. I really do. I feel like people have settled, and you don't have to. And the thing that I'm noticing now, there's an emerging trend with romantic relationships. I guess this is a C. They are choosing, there's that letter. People are choosing very intentionally not to be in a committed relationship. And I'm telling you, I'm going to use another C right now. It's not one of the 7s. I think when people choose not to be in a relationship, meaning they're not even looking for one. I'm not talking about staying. I don't want you to ever stay in an unhealthy relationship. But when they choose not to, they choose not to be part of one, they choose not to explore it, I think they're cheating themselves. I really do. I think you're cheating yourself. What I have learned as a marriage and family counselor, I've been blessed to do it now. This year will be my 40th year. I know you're saying, Dr. Jeff, how could it possibly be 40 years? Because you look barely 42. Any of you laughing right now, I want you to know that hurts deep. Any of you that thought, yeah, I thought you were 42 or 43, you are my new best friend. But here's the deal. A lot of relationships, right, they're struggling, or they're not even getting started. And I want you to know that single, if any of you right now are happily single, at best, you're at 80%. Notice I didn't say you're at 100%. You could be really happy single, but you're not totally fulfilled. What you need is the other 20% to feel completely whole. To feel complete, there's another C word. I told you, a lot of words begin with C. See, if you're in a really healthy, loving, romantic relationship, the rest of your world tends to function really well. It just does. I'll probably do a podcast just on the 80-20. But just because your career is going great, or just because you have great social life, or just because you have great relationships with your family members, I don't believe you could be at 100% without somebody who truly loves you romantically and that you love romantically. And there's a trend, and there's a trend away from that. And I'm here to tell you, don't do that. And I'm going to give you some guidance on how to have the most healthy relationship you can have and how to find that. So let's jump into the 7 C's of a successful romantic relationship. And I actually wrote them down here on this creative little envelope that I'm not going to let you see. And the very first one, and this one, they're all key, but this is step one. Chemistry. There has to be chemistry, right? You hear about these relationships where they sort of started out as friends or associates, and I'm not saying those aren't healthy ways to start a relationship, but when you meet somebody for the first time, a first meet, a first date, chemistry is essential. It's hard to describe, but you know it when you feel it. It's chemical. There's another C, right? There's a chemical to it. And what we understand is how, believe it or not, how someone smells, their natural fragrances or colognes or perfumes that they use, hopefully not too much, really can be a chemical attractant. And you just know it. There's something about being with that person on a first meet where you feel this incredible chemistry. You look at them, and the chemistry, I'm going to tell you flat out, is very physical, right? The chemistry for both men and women, although I believe it's even more with men, it begins with our eyes. And we look at that person and we are so physically drawn to them. You know, and as I think about these 7 C's and I think about chemistry, you know, in my mind right now as I'm thinking about it, and certainly in my heart, as I think about maybe my favorite C, Christine, which many of you know is my fiance. I'm telling you, when we had our first meet, the chemistry was intense. It was immediate. It was immediate from, hi, Christine, from then on out, and it's never gone away. There has been this powerful mutual attraction. And I'm going to tell you, chemistry needs to stay woven in, right? You got to weave it into your relationship. And if you lose chemistry, I think in some ways you lose the foundational core that helps a relationship go well and helps a relationship maintain during some of the difficult times that we face internally and externally in our romantic relationships. Chemistry is such a powerful feeling, and I'll give you, I guess, a visual of what I mean. And again, I don't want to overly personalize all 7 stages because I'm going to tell you, flat out, good luck finding the kind of relationship I have. And I mean that sincerely. I'm not knocking you. I just know I'm in rare air and I love it. But I want to help you at least get close. You know, I've been on a lot of first meets over the year. I've been blessed to do that. And this was the first meet where, without a doubt, I was so eager to kiss her. And after the fact, I found out she was feeling the same. There's a chemistry. There's a draw. It's physical, but as the first meet continues, there's laughter, there's great conversation. So chemistry embodies a lot of wonderful experiences that come together. But to continue to have a really powerful, profound, and passionate relationship, you got to have chemistry, right? There's got to be a look between you. And see, if you're in a relationship now that is chemistry free, your friends, your roommates, flat out. And if that's what you choose, so be it. And I mean it sincerely. You know, as a couples counselor, there's 2 C's for you. As a couples counselor, I see plenty of couples where they have lost the chemistry, they have lost the spark. And I try to help them in some very innovative ways to recapture it. And for some of these couples, they never really had it. I'm talking about when you kiss somebody, there's an electricity. And just to go into a little bit of the science, there's so many pheromones. Women leak out more of them even here than we do as men, but there's a subconscious, there's an unconscious, there's just a release of all these feel-good chemicals, oxytocin and so on, that just is released and we sense it with each other. So the first and one of the most important C's in a healthy romantic relationship that makes it for a long time is chemistry. Secondly is connection. There's got to be a connection, right? A relationship that's only physical, like, wow, she's so beautiful, or he's so handsome, or so cute, whatever terms you use to describe somebody, there's got to be a connection. There's got to be more than just chemistry, and you need it. So I should say, in addition to the chemistry, there's got to be a connection. There's got to be connection in some ways is a glue, and underneath the umbrella of connection is a mutual respect, right? Like, I really respect this person. I'm really proud of this person. I'm really proud to go out with them publicly, right? They're not my side piece. They're not somebody that's just off to the side, right? This is somebody that I have this deep, meaningful connection. I admire them. I adore them. And again, I'm going to use this a very important concept. I have such great respect for them and who they are. And in return, they adore us. They respect us. They admire us, right? There's this powerful, powerful connection that without it, I know it's going to sound like shrink speak, but hey, I am. There's a disconnect that is created, right? A real powerful disconnect if you don't have that chemistry and connection. I remember when I was very fortunate. Christine reached out to me Saturday, December 14th, 2024. I remember it like yesterday. With the old "Hi, Jeff" and a couple exclamation points. Read her profile, liked what I saw, liked what I read, thought she'd have described me actually. And when we started talking the next day, I asked her, I said, hey, would you like to meet for a drink sometime? And in my message, I said, let's find out if there's any chemistry and connection. And classical Christine, and this is one of the things I loved and admired about her, see those key words, is she said, I happen to be free tonight if you are. So we met that night. And we met on Sunday, December 15th, and boy, did we have chemistry, and boy, did we have connection. And you know what we found out shortly thereafter, and this is another important C, really kind of the chemistry and connection draws us in, right? This is what I think allows us, this is sort of the first stage of this relationship has legs, and that's compatibility, right? We're compatible with each other. And what I'm seeing in our country right now is a real incongruency, big word of the day, look that one up, of compatibility. And sadly, one of them should never happen, but it is. And I'm seeing couples either break up, or I'm seeing people meet, they have chemistry and connection, and then they start talking politics and they realize they're on opposite ends, and they're like, I can't possibly date you. Wow, what a tragedy that your politics and your political views could interfere with a wonderful relationship. What I recommend to couples all the time, and people going on first dates, first meets, don't talk politics. All it does is bring you down anyways, right? Don't talk politics. But find out where you're compatible. Because you know what? Even liberal libs and very conservatives, right there, opposite end of the spectrum, the true conservatives and the true liberals, they really care about people. They do. They really care about people. They may have different ways of getting there. They may have a different approach of how you show you care. They may have a different approach on how the government and how society and how countries should run. That's fine. But at their core, liberals and conservatives, they really care about people. Now, if you get a whack job conservative or a whack job liberal, and I think you know where we see more, there's no question you may knock heads. But that's not because of political views. That's because you're both whack jobs. How do you like that for political commentary? So politics should never interfere with your relationship. And I don't care where you land and who you vote for, right? You should be able to say, you know what? I don't see how you'd vote for him or for her. All right, so be it. So be it. But you're a good man. You're a great woman. You're kind, you're caring, you're compassionate. Right? Those are not mutually exclusive. But you also have to be compatible where you have similar values, similar interests, similar passions, similar spontaneity, similar openness to new ideas, new perspectives, new adventures. And compatibility doesn't have to be day one. It can be something you grow into together. And I'll talk about one of the important C's later that allows you to become more and more compatible with each other. And I will tell you flat out as a shrink, compatibility, particularly in 2026, it's difficult to find. It really is. I think you can find a lot of people that you have a chemistry with and even to some degree a connection, but to absolutely be compatible with them, that's hard to find. And when you find it, doggone it, you got to keep it. You got to be intentional. You got to be specific. And do not use relationship kryptonite ever, which is take the relationship for granted. Be compatible in your schedules. Be compatible in your careers, another C word that just devastates relationships. Be compatible in this C word, children. Be compatible, that you both prioritize the relationship. Ladies, here's a tip. Take it, run with it. Some of you are on various social platforms where you're looking to date and meet. But your opening line is, I'm the proud mother of the two best boys in the world, 4 and 7. You will not meet your soulmate opening it up like that. Never going to happen. Never going to happen if your opening line is, I'm the proud mom of the two most amazing boys in the history of boys. And then line 2 says, so any man I'm with needs to understand that they come first. Done. You're not compatible. That man doesn't exist. There's no man out there that's going to come in second. And wait till you see what number 7 is, and it will tie this all together. And the same is true. Women are not looking for a man to say, I'm the proud father of 2 daughters, 8 and 12. And any woman, right, that I meet has to be prepared to be a mom and understand that. And, you know, here's my schedule. We can only meet every other weekend, and we'll talk on the phone during the week. That's not compatibility. That's not even a relationship. I don't even know if that's dating. That's just sort of kind of having somebody in your life every other weekend. That's when you see the person. So you technically go about 13, 14 days without connecting. There's a big C word, right? No. And so many people are doing that. So here's a B word for you. Compatibility means finding balance. Right? No man, no woman is ever going to say to their new partner or their committed partner, don't be a parent. Don't spend time with your kids. Exclude me from it. I don't want to be part of it. No. But there has to be a balance. Well, I can't go away this weekend. I know she's 20, but I can't go away. You can and you should. Right? You can and you should. You have got to prioritize your romantic relationship. If you prioritize the children or your career, it's over. You got no shot at getting to the finish line. And it's tricky to get to the finish line even if you have all 7 C's, because a couple of B's sneak in, including boredom and other things. Compatibility is essential, and it takes intentionality. It takes passion to continue to work on being compatible with each other. I love number 4 too. I know you can guess what it is. This is a difference maker for every couple, for every romantic couple. By the way, as a shrink, I'm telling you, as individuals, as singles, and as couples, you are not broken. You're not broken. I love how society tries to victimize you. You're not broken. But I know most of you tuning in have broken communication. Most of you don't know how to communicate effectively at all. If you did, I'd be unemployed. If you were a good communicator, I'd be unemployed. But you're not, so I'm very much employed. Right now, I'm saving you $250 an hour. You're welcome. Communication. You have to be able to communicate with each other, and the best communicators do this first. What's that? Look at that dramatic 3-second pause. What do the best and healthiest communicators do first? They listen. They listen. Wait, let me be clear. They listen. See, the majority of you, and I'm not finger pointing, you probably learned poor communication skills. Most people, when they're having an intense conversation, they're already thinking about their response instead of listening to what their partner is saying. Instead of listening to how their partner feels. Great communication between each other is so amazing. So amazing. It is another glue and foundation for all healthy romantic relationships. By the way, one of my favorite kinds of communication is physical intimacy. Physical intimacy is a form of communication, and most of you are lousy at it. How do I know? Because your husbands and wives come to my office and tell me. You're not good at physical communication. Dudes, you got to up your game. Stop wearing black socks to bed. Stop wearing tighty-whities. Stop feeling like every physical encounter has to end a certain way. If this was a community cable, I'd be a little more definitive, but I'll let your imaginations run. And ladies, quite frankly, your physical communication is at best maybe a little better, but frequently even worse because you just flat out quit. So communication is global. It's the words. It's our body language. It's our ability to listen. Here's a great tip, and then I'm going to get back to sexual intimacy. You do this tip, your communication style is going to improve dramatically. I don't care who it's with, but if it's with your romantic partner and he or she points out something, shares her opinion about something about you or the relationship, the very first thing I want you to do is assume he or she is correct. Seriously. Feels like you really don't listen a lot. Well, now you sound like Aggie Wig. Check out Netflix. You'll know who that is. No, listen. She just said to me, it feels like I don't listen. I'm going to assume she's right. Have I been a good listener lately? Have I been tuning her out? Have I been on my phone when she's sharing difficult conversations? Have I been watching Sports Center? Have I been not hitting pause on the remote to give her my full attention? And then you could say, tell me more about that. What is it lately that feels like I'm not listening? Don't defend it. Acknowledge that she might be right. You might just be right. I want you to assume when someone gives you feedback, critical feedback. See, it's easy to take good feedback. Wow, you're so amazing. You're so sensitive. You got a big heart. I don't have a big heart, right? No one's going to push back on that. But people get defensive right away. And I want you to assume the person sharing the feedback is correct. It's accurate. And find out more. And what you'll find, here's 80-20. 80% of the time, the person giving you the feedback, it's accurate. 20% it's not. And then you guys can have a conversation. But to the person delivering the message, you got to be careful how you deliver it. Hey, here's an ineffective way. Hey, I feel like you don't listen. I feel like you don't care. I feel like you don't like me. I feel like you just like your friends more. See how I'm getting kind of nudgy and nasty? That encourages defensiveness. Try this. Hey, can we grab a couple of minutes when there's some quiet time? There's some things I'd love to share with you. Absolutely, let's do that. And then you say it. And listen how my voice changes. It softens. Male or female, it doesn't matter. Hey, I feel like lately I don't feel heard. I don't feel listened to. And see, the finger point is going towards ourselves. I don't feel versus you don't listen. You don't care. You don't care about this relationship. That's not good communication. Sometimes, look, I'm even to do this, right? I'm a good communicator. I'm very physical. Sometimes it feels like I'm not as cared about as I once was. How different is that? And the person doesn't get defensive. If you give them body language of you suck, they're going to get defensive. If you give them a body language of this is really, really important to me, human nature is the people I love, I don't want you to feel that way. I don't want you to feel like you're not being listened to. I don't want you to feel like you're not cared for. So be a great communicator. I should really do a separate show on communication, and I probably will because it's a lighter, gentler Dr. Jeff this year, so I probably will, but I want to close sort of the sexual intimacy loop a little bit around communication. If you can't talk about sexual intimacy, your sex is no good. If you cannot talk about sexual intimacy, what feels good, more or less, whatever, you got some major issues. You do, and I'm not saying you're a bad person, but you got some major issues. So you got to be able to talk about it, right? And if you could talk about it, really good things will happen. Here's number 5. It's a really important one on the C's of attraction, which is we are attracted to people with character, right? With character. They're not a snake. They're not slimy. They're good people. They have character. Again, I'm going to use that word. You can be proud of them. You know they make good decisions. Character means you can trust them, right? Trust is an essential part of a relationship, no question about it. But since it doesn't start with a C, I'm not talking about it a lot today. But you know it's in every C that I'm talking about. It's in every C that I'm talking about. And good character, right? Good character. And here's the definition of good character in case a lot of you are confused what it means. Good character, the premium definition of character, is doing the right thing even when no one's looking. Doing the right thing even if you will not receive acknowledgement for it. That's character. That's good character. And if you are with somebody who's a good character man or a good character woman, they have, right, there's somebody you could be proud of. You could be like, well, that's a good person. That's a recipe for success and a long-term, very healthy relationship. Number 6, compassion. And you know what I find? People who are compassionate tend to be great in romantic relationships. Compassionate for how people feel. Compassionate people are kind. Compassionate people are confident. See, for women, they learn very quickly if a man is compassionate by watching how he interacts with his own mom. Take that one to the bank. A compassionate man interacts very well with his mom, with respect and dignity, unless, of course, she doesn't deserve it, which is few and far between, but there are those moms out there, hence the movie Mommy Dearest. Google it, I'm not even going to explain it. But here's the deal. When they have this compassion, women see that this guy is kind. He's not negative. See, negativity in a relationship, like always negative, always a downer. If you're in a relationship with a human vacuum cleaner and they just suck the joy out of the room, they suck the joy out of a good experience, they suck the joy out of a good time, they're not compassionate. See, compassionate people care. Compassionate people want you to feel good. Compassionate people are kind. Compassionate people are loving. Compassionate people do the right thing because, period. Let me repeat it. Compassionate people do the right thing because, period, not for any payoff. You cannot teach someone to be compassionate. Either they were raised that way or they were not. And so if you're with a man or woman right now who's not compassionate, like they get a kick out of running over a squirrel on the road because, what were you doing on the road, squirrel? That's not compassion, and you're never going to teach that person to do it. You know what compassionate men do really well? They share their feelings, and they listen and validate yours. You know what compassionate women do really well? They share their feelings, and they validate yours. Isn't that nice? That's compassion. And finally, as we wrap up the 7 C's of a successful romantic relationship, and here's one again, so many people struggle with. Look, I'm shifting in my chair because it's tricky. It's compromise. Compromise, not sacrifice. You should never, ever have to sacrifice in a relationship. By the way, you should never have to work hard in a relationship. I love when couples experts, and I include myself in that, but I never say this. I love when couples experts, relationship experts, I'm a relationship expert, I'm a relationship coach. They're not if they ever say this to you. Relationships are really hard work. No. You know what hard work is? Putting in a foundation on a house on a cold day. That's hard work. You know what's just hard work? Being a police officer on a 12-hour detail when it's 95 degrees and you have no shade. You know what else is hard work? Putting a roof on the house by yourself. That's hard work. You know what's just hard work? Being a single parent and going to school full time. That's hard work. Relationships aren't hard work. Hard work? Oh man, I'm waking up. This is really hard work. I went to bed. It was really hard work. Do we have disagreements? Sure. Do we argue? Sure. But if you practice all 7 C's, it's not hard work. Little things stay small. But it's not hard work. It's not hard, and it's not work. Work is work. Hard is hard. Are there difficult times in relationships? Sure. But it's not hard work. These 7 things, here it is. Read it, enjoy it. It's my lovely purple pen that I stole from a restaurant. Tell no one. So much for my character. These aren't hard to do. It's not hard to be a good listener. It's not hard to be compassionate. It's not hard to be a good communicator. It's not hard to be intentional with your partner. It's not hard to be humble. It's not hard to apologize. It's not hard to say, hey, I fell short. Hey, I don't want you to feel that way. Hey, it's not my intention. I never want you to feel that way. I am so sorry. I fell short. This was not my finest hour. That's not hard work. See, compromise is just that. Remember how I said healthy relationships don't prioritize the kids? There's times when you got to prioritize them. There are. Not always, but there's times you have to. There's times you really just want to go out with your wife or your husband or your friend, right, your romantic partner, and their kid's got to play that night. Guess what? You're going to the play. There's a night you're getting ready to go away and the 4-year-old gets sick. It happens. But it's compromise. But as soon as you compromise your relationship, 1 through 6 is out the door. No compromise. Don't compromise your relationship. Compromise a little bit of what you think is important. You know what? I love you so much. I care about you so much. I feel the love that you bring to me so much. You better believe I'm going to compromise. The hell, some of you got into arguments about Christmas Eve and Christmas Day and New Year's because you didn't want to go to the in-laws. Guess what? Go to the in-laws, be miserable because you love your partner. Compromise. And the person who went to your parents and they didn't want to go, you compromise with them and don't stay 6 hours, stay 3. Compromise. You know, I love when people do this, and then I'll get off my soapbox and we'll close it out. I love when people, I say this with sarcasm, put their careers first. Okay, good for you. Have fun dying alone. Seriously, have fun dying alone. Right? People that take a job, sure, it might pay well, and they're going to travel all the time, your relationship's toast. You got no shot. Compromise. I remember early on in my marriage, and I'm divorced, and I'm still smiling. I had an opportunity to take a Division I college coaching job, and that was a dream gig for me. Dream gig. It was in Washington State. But to do that, I would have to uproot my children, and at that time, my wife. And I didn't think it was fair to chase my dream. So I coached at a college locally. I've coached at high schools locally. Compromise, doing the right thing, being there for somebody, but it's a mutual compromise. I hope these 7 C's have been helpful for you. Stop making excuses. I want you to watch this podcast 3 times. And I want you to be very reflective. And I want you to write down all 7 C's. And I want you to check it off. Be honest. Yes, I have it. And the majority of you currently don't have chemistry with your partner. Just be honest. Just be honest. Having sex once a year, not chemistry. I don't even know what I would call it. Happy birthday, right? I don't know what you'd call it. But check them off. And the ones you don't, then you got to ask yourself, is this a real relationship? And if it's not, and it's not healthy, it's okay to move on and move forward. And if there's a commitment level there, and they have a lot of upside, but things are missing, that's when you talk to me or somebody else, and we'll help you get there. Hey, Happy New Year. This is Dr. Jeff LeCure, and once again, this has been your wake-up call. I'll see you next week.